the turning point was this moment when I was 28 years old. I went on vacation to South America, to Punta del Este, which is a party town in Uruguay, and we were with all the right people. And at the time, my girlfriend was on the cover of a fashion magazine, and I thought she was the most beautiful girl on the whole compound. And I had the BMW, I had the stupid watch, and I just remember feeling so unhappy. I mean, I was in love with her. She wasn't in love with me. The car, wasn't that nice of a BMW. The watch wasn't that nice. And just kind of realizing, oh my gosh, I mean, if this plays out, I'm just going to be an unhappy person. And I think maybe more important, like, what did I do? What did I accomplish? If I died today, what would my tombstone read? And it would read, "Here lies a guy who got a million people drunk and made some money doing it." I mean, that's really the only contribution that I had made to society. And I realized I wanted to come back to, a very lost faith, a very lost morality, try to rediscover these things as an adult. And what I realized, Aaron, was a pivot was not needed. A small course correction was not what was needed. This was like, find every single thing that I'm doing and do the exact opposite. You know, find the opposite intention for life. Go find that 180 degrees. And there's a lot more. I wound up writing a book, so there's kind of a couple chapters of like, there are more details in there. But long story short, if you fast forward 6 months, my big idea was sell everything I own and go serve on a humanitarian mission for 1 year. Kind of give one of the 10 years back in service and see where that would take me. I really didn't know. I wouldn't have said, "Oh, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life." It was just try it out, and that seemed pretty opposite. And that led me to war-torn Liberia, West Africa, at just at the end of a 14-year civil war, a brutal war that had been waged with children, that left the country without electricity, without running water, without sewage, without a mail system. And there was one doctor for every 50,000 people living in the country. And I was joining a mission full of doctors who had come from all over the world to try to use their skills to try to serve people who didn't have access to medical care, who couldn't afford it, even if it was available.
And you were a photojournalist with them?
Yeah. So, and I was like, I said to this organization, I'm a pretty good photographer as a hobby, and I'm a pretty good writer. Let me come and tell stories of the impactful work you're doing. And they did have this role, so it's not like it was completely made up. But I think I also knew that I might be able to bring some of the people from club life along for the journey. And I had an email list at the time of about 15,000 people, back when open rates were, 90%. So, I think I realized that maybe I could tell a new story with my life, and I could maybe even tell a new story to the same people I'd been getting drunk for the last 10 years. So life changed so quickly. I quit smoking. I quit drinking. I, later went back to, I love craft beer and wine, but, I did quit drugs completely. I just kind of walked away from, all of the vices of my former life. And there was something really symbolic about walking up the gangway of a 522-foot hospital ship. So this is how the mission got its doctors in, a giant hospital ship, and kind of sailing away from my old selfish, sycophantic life into this new life with a group of doctors, who are going to change the world and who are going to help people. So that really started Act 3, where I landed in Liberia as this photojournalist with on a hospital ship with 350 other people. And then I just go back for a second year, and it's really that second year that I discover the water crisis, the water problem. And I learned that half of the people in the country don't have access to clean water. And then I learned that half of the disease in the country is because people don't have access to clean water or access to sanitation and hygiene. So it's for me, it's kind of the root cause of so much of the sickness that our doctors are treating, that we're putting the Band-Aid on. But, millions of people don't have water. So I really discover that connection between water and health, and then say, well, maybe I should go and work on this bigger global problem, which at the time there were 1 billion worldwide. We've actually made a lot of progress as a sector over the last 15 years. So that was how I jumped into water. And, I was 30 at the time. I came back to New York City. I was completely broke. I was living on a closet floor in Manhattan of a friend's. And I just said, I think I'm going to try to bring clean and safe drinking water to everybody in the world and build a movement, raise awareness, raise as much money as possible from the poor, from the middle class, from the rich, and try to build a machine that turns money into clean water in an efficient and transparent and sustainable way.